Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. If you're a new listener, welcome. If you're a veteran, welcome back. We have some whiny dogs. We actually have my dogs here, so if you hear one of them kind of walking around, so if you guys hear a little barking or something, I was going to get them out of here, but they're staying in here. Hans said they can stay in one of them. I don't know. One of them is looking at something. I don't know.
He's looking at your drawing board.
I know. Kai, there's nothing there. No, it's okay. We have important stuff here. There's people listening,
Whole world for like decades.
It's like millions of people right now listening.
Yeah, you hope so.
Millions, billions of people listening.
Yeah, well,
this is
don't exaggerate.
Yeah, such an important topic is food. Feeding. Hans, you had dogs for over 60 years now, and you went through so much that Hans is not a veterinarian. There should be like
or nutritionist.
Nutritionist.
So if you want to poke holes into that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I've been around dogs for a long time, and I'm, like it says, what's your qualification?
Yes.
I know how to read.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
Yeah.
But, what everything, what I do with dogs should be logical and should be based on nature. And the dogs are same species as wolf. People say, "Why dogs are not wolves?" No, but everything. So the wolves and dogs are different, but everything which is which is in dog, everything is what's in the dog came from wolf.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, not everything which is in wolf is in dog.
Yeah,
but everything which is in the dog is from wolf. That's my pet peeve. Equation and application right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the wolf in nature eats what he hunts and kills and raw meat, and that's why I believe, we should feed the dog raw. Unfortunately, it's hard to get a whole rabbit with fur and guts and all that, right? But we gotta come to it as close as possible. So why not to feed granulated dog food, right? We don't, personally, this is my own personal opinion based on my experience and thinking and reading and all that, okay? So personally, I think we should not feed granulated dog food because it kills the enzymes. The cooking and the heat over 114 or 18 degrees, whatever, right? Fahrenheit, it'll kill the enzymes.
Yeah.
And we're living on enzymes. Without enzymes, we will die. Our body can regenerate and produce only so many enzymes in lifetime, right? Mm-hmm. So when we eat raw thing like fruits or meat, like beef tartare or sushi, right? We're replenishing the enzymes, and the food has self-digestion. So you have two parts in the stomach, and the first part, the enzymes from the food which we ate pre-digest the food which we just ate. So it's self-digesting. Yeah. And then it goes to the second part of the stomach where the digestion is finished. Now, if we eat food which is void of enzymes because they were killed by radiation, chemicals, freeze-dry, heat, any kind of processing will diminish or kill all the enzymes, or at least some of them, or most of them. Now, when we eat that food, or the dog, same thing. Yeah. When I say we mean I'm dog. Part.
Yeah, but the word processed, people right away, I heard of that processed food. Like
right. It doesn't matter if it's human or if it's a dog. When I say we, me, like a human, well, I'm a dog. Remember that, I'm at least part dog.
Yes.
Right. So
we looked at Hans genetically.
Yeah. So anyway, if I or dog gets processed food which is void of enzymes, the body of the animal has to take enzymes anywhere from their own body, reconstitute them into digestive enzymes, right? And the enzymes, as I said, our body is run on enzymes. So like your lungs and eyes and brain and everything is run on enzymes. Yeah. Now, remember, your body can reconstitute these enzymes only so many times in the lifetime. Yeah. That's why we get old, because, and that's why dogs seems to be dying sooner than they used to when we fed them raw meat. So, the body can reconstitute and produce less and less on those enzymes, and we get wrinkles, and we get older and slower, and your joints will not work as good, because those all things are run by enzymes, and if we ate too much, that's why people who eat little live longer.
Or people in Japan, the more raw.
Yeah, and they eat raw and stuff. So, so you know, eventually it'll catch up with all of us, of course. Yeah. But you know, that's why we want to feed the raw, so the dogs or our organism doesn't have to take enzymes from my kidney or brain or eyes or tongue or whatever. Yeah. And reconstitute it into digestive enzymes and then bring it back to that. Okay, you know, that process is just so many times we can do that. Yeah. And it's layman's way explanation, but if you really read on it, scientific studies and stuff, you will find out that it's correct, what I'm just saying.
So that can cause other issues too within the body, I'm assuming. At that point, it's not just the age.
Yeah, while we... Because there's only certain, it's like a bucket of enzymes we have in our body. And unless we replenish it with raw food, the bucket of enzymes is getting less and less full. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And that's why we age also, okay? So that's why when we eat raw, or dogs eat raw, we are replenishing these enzymes. And, you know, so you may ask, well, why are they killing the enzymes in the dog food? Yeah. And the reason for that is a shelf life. Yeah. Right?
Business.
I remember when I was with Tina, right? We did this test. We talked about this, right? About raw and granulated dog food, right? Yeah. And she says, let's do this. And we took a saucer, right? And put in one saucer, we put regular granulated dog food, and in the other, we put meat, just meat. Yeah. You know, and left it there for like a week. You know, make sure the birds cannot get to it. And after a week, the granulated dog food was perfect. It was still there, same thing.
Good as new.
Right, good as new. The raw meat was full of maggots, mold. Yeah. It was all disgusting, right? Liquidy, and smelled bad from bacteria and all that. Yeah. And I said, so you see, we should feed the granulated dog food. And Tina looked at me and says, well, why would you want to feed your dog something what not even maggots want to eat? Remember, like today. So that's the thing, right? Yeah. The maggots, they wouldn't touch that granulated dog food. They wouldn't.
They knew where the good stuff is. Yeah.
So that's why they kill the enzymes in the granulated dog food so that the dog food can stay on the shelf for 3 years and nothing happens. Yeah. You know, there may be some expiration, which is shorter, but if you triple the expiration date, nothing will happen.
Kind of like the grocery store is not a good business. Like fruits are hard to deal with, right? Because they rot.
Right.
It's got its shelf life, so that's a tough
right,
one.
But you know what they do now, man? Yeah. They're irradiating even the raw meat.
Okay, yeah, you told me that
You know, and it started, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. It was like a big deal. Everybody was really happy. But I think the irradiation also kills the enzymes too.
It's similar.
Yeah, so we have this conundrum, but I think it's still better than, to heat it up and all that, stuff, right? Yeah. But I know I can buy a chuck roast and put it in a refrigerator. It stays there for 3 weeks and it's like new.
Yeah.
I remember back then, before the irradiation, it would rot even in a refrigerator after a few days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And everything is really sterile, really.
Well, milk too. We talked about this with the sour milk, right?
Yeah. The milk. I remember in Czechoslovakia when I lived there. You leave the milk in the jug, and after a while it got sour, and you shake it and drink sour milk. It was great for you.
Hungary too. Same
American
thing.
milk doesn't get sour.
No. Like I have a milk that says expiration. This was in the summer. Like if you're listening to this, and it says October expiration. I'm like, milk lasting until October.
Right.
I know it's in the fridge, but
no, even in fridge. I mean. In Czech, I put the milk jug in a fridge, and within a week it was start separating, and
So all this, I mean, I guess that's another thing. But as you said, sterilizing,
right? And on top of all that, I suspect, and I'm gonna put the picture of the tree. I still, I said tree is still there.
It's a good story.
I when I switched to raw food, I had a bag of dog food left, right? About half a bag or something. And I didn't know what to do with it, right? So I said, well, it's like a meat or something. So I just dump it I have this orange tree, right? So I just dump it there. It's going to be like a fertilizer, right?
Yeah.
And I dumped it there, and then I kind of forgot about it. And the tree started getting smaller and shriveled and less leaves and all that, and eventually died.
Yeah.
I have a picture of it. I put it there on that video. Yeah. And it didn't dawn on me for a while. Why the hell? And I try everything, fertilize it, water it. I did everything for the damn tree. And I have a tree, same kind, right next to it. It's a big tree, which I didn't put the dog food on.
Yeah.
So I was thinking back, like, what did I do different with this tree? And then I realized I put the damn dog food to it. And these dog foods, I suspect there's some anti-enzyme thing, so the food doesn't get spoiled on a shelf. Yeah. So they put who knows what. I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
You see these chemicals there, it's just like this long.
Yeah.
And what it did, I think, now I can't prove it, I'm not a scientist or whatever, I'm just observing things around me. And what I think happened, that it killed the enzymes in the soil which the tree needs to grow. And it sucked the enzymes into itself and basically killed the tree. Yeah. It took it to like 2-3 years before it died, but it died. Yeah. So I may want to try it again. I have these desert wheats growing and put a dog food on it and see if they die.
We're going to do an experiment.
But that was it was amazing, and I kept watering it. I did everything. I put fertilizer, whole stuff, and the tree just never made it.
Yeah, it's sad. It's like, convenience of humans overpower it's sad. It's like, we talk with my wife, we don't have kids, but like, feeding it out of, like, would you feed your child that kind of stuff, rather than cooking a potato
but people do. They buy dry powdered milk and they feed it to kids.
I know, they do. I know. They have it.
Shit, I was in Czechoslovakia visiting my sister. And, in the summer home, we have this basement, which I dug with my father. I told you about it.
Yeah.
And I go down there and I see this powdered milk everywhere, like big cases of it.
Yeah.
And I said, what do you do? Oh, we don't buy regular milk. It spoils. And I say, so what do you do? So the milk I'm drinking here is just reconstituted powdered milk? I say, yeah. It's horrible.
It's
it's also killed everything in it. right?
Yeah. So it's like, and because the dogs are helpless, they're depend on you,
Right,
100%,
right.
like a child.
Right,
Same
but we're
concept.
helpless too because
Yeah.
we don't know any better.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I got yell at your dogs, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's all right. Let them be.
We'll see. They switched up now. I went over there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
He said it must be a good place right there.
Yeah.
But you know the enzymes is like a big deal. You know, it's a really big deal.
I mean, when Hans told me this the first time, like I started thinking, I'm like, darn it, that's actually makes sense.
Right.
You know.
Another thing is about granulated dog food is when you give it to the dog, hey, get out of here. It turns into mush into the dog's stomach.
Oh yeah, that's a big one too.
Right.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
And so the stomach doesn't have to work on it, right? And then it becomes atrophy. It's just not muscular like if you would feed it a raw meat, right? And so the stomach then has a little more propensity to flip, to turn, you know. And if that happens, dog will die, right?
Yeah.
Unless you catch it really quickly. And we have a video on how to recognize
the torsion. Yeah.
the dog with torsion, right?
Yeah.
But I personally think that one of the reasons why the dog's stomach flip, they keep talking about deep-chested dogs and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I remember when I was in Czech, we didn't have a granulated dog food. Granulated dog food. We fed leftovers or meat or whatever. You had in a restaurant a friend and table scraps instead of throwing in the dumpster.
Yeah.
You came and they gave you bucket and you fed it to your dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was still natural. I mean, I know it was heated, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, but it was still meat and chunks and it was variety and all that. And there was a salad was in it, you know, and all that.
And the dogs were healthy?
Yeah, dogs were healthy. And their stomach never flipped. I mean, maybe, but it was unknown thing. And as soon as they start feeding granulated dog food, stomach starts flipping.
Okay.
A lot of dogs died because of that. I mean, I don't know if it's because of that.
Yeah, because it was not, like the Czechoslovakia and Hungary, under communism, there was no such thing as dog food. Literally not possible. Like, you didn't even hear of it.
Yeah, when we heard about America having dog food, we thought it was bizarre.
There was I'm sure you heard stories of families when they immigrated. I mean, I heard stories because the dog food aisle is like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. So they thought that's food, and they bought it and they kind of ate some of it. They didn't know that was dog food.
Dog food.
I mean, it's kind of weird, but it's America.
Right. Yeah, right. So it was a cheap. Well, old people buy dog food and eat it. Cat food is even better. But
but the stomach, it's an interesting point.
So when you feed the dog raw meat, what you want it's chunks. It's not much about enzymes. You know, that's why you said, well, it's cooked. No, it doesn't matter. But there's still chunks. There's a potato. There's a chunk. There's a piece of steak, which is a chunk. There's a piece of pork chop, which is a chunk. The
stomach has to work.
So the stomach has to work on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So if you feed a raw meat, don't give the dog a hamburger. Don't chop it to little tiny pieces. You know.
Yeah.
Give the dog whole piece of meat, and they chew on it, and it makes like a hole in it, and then the digestive juices can go, so it can digest it better, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just like wolf in nature, right? And so now this dog has in his stomach this chunk of raw meat.
Yeah.
So you gotta work on it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a strong muscular stomach.
Yeah.
And the propensity that it's gonna flip is much smaller, if not zero.
Yeah.
You know, so of course you don't want to say this to the dog food company. They say, it's not true. We did studies and okay.
It's such a scam, the whole
right. I'm just telling you what I think is natural, and I have never seen dog eating granulated dog food. Another test Tina used to do, it was funny. She would, because she had a big kennel, so the salespeople came with selling granulated dog food, right? And she did feed granulated dog food, because she just couldn't afford meat.
Yeah, right.
And but she would feed dog food which was meat based. If you look at the ingredients, they were, and she fed, I think, table scraps too, from, but she would always look and make sure that the meat is one of the first ingredients and not like 67th one.
Yeah.
And she would take, if the salesperson came, she would take a sample of the dog food, granulated wolf food, and gave it to the horse. And if the horse wanted to eat it, she said, I don't want it.
Oh, really? The horse was a tester. That's funny. Yeah.
Another thing is especially the high, what I call hot granulated dog foods have a lot of nutrition in it.
Yeah, I like how you said it, because people, when you said hot dog food, people thought it was hot dog.
Don't you feed hot dogs to your dog?
Because you said hot dog.
Yeah, hot space dog food.
Dog food. It's so funny.
I don't feed hot dogs.
You said hot. You said hot dog.
But
food.
you know what's funny? I was selling dogs to this law enforcement agency, and I was telling them, these about hot dog food. I said, okay, well, we'll give them some hot dogs. and I said, what the hell is he talking about? Finally, just now, it dawned on me.
Yeah. It's really,
oh my God.
Just
English.
I said, give him hot dogs. Okay.
I forgot what I was going to talk about.
Well, I don't know. Something in the check. Was it in the check?
When you feed the hot dog food, not hot dog food, okay? Hot space, dog food.
Yeah.
I hope you got it. If you didn't get it, you're an idiot, so I don't care. But what happens is the dog gets all the nutrition all the time, and a lot of it, right? Because these dog food companies, they pump it with nutrition. They fortify it.
They fortify, yeah.
Right. So the dog then has a lot of nutrition all the time, which is unnatural again, because when you go and look at the wolf or coyote, right?
Yeah.
They don't eat complete nutritionally balanced dog food in every day, right? They catch mouse, they catch frog, they catch bugs, they eat little berries. Then they don't eat anything for a day or two.
They might not get that part of the kill. The dominant one eats first. They just get other. Yeah.
Right. Who eats first and stuff, right? So, but what happens is they get all the nutrition, but not every time, all the time. So they grow much slower. Right.
The wolf.
The wolf. The wolf. Right.
Yeah.
And so why people say, well, everybody tries to impress me. Oh, my dog grows so fast. That's bad.
Yeah.
Growing fast, the bones as they grow, they need to ossify. It means turning from cartilage into bone. And that's caused by depositing minerals into the bone. And the different minerals are deposited in the bone in different ratio. Phosphorus deposits slower than calcium, and magnesium and manganese, and all these minerals, they have different rates of depositing. So in order for the bone to develop properly, you got to give it a time. So if you feed everything the dog nutritionist will say, well, dog needs this much calcium, so they give it this much calcium. Yeah, he needs this much calcium, but not all the time. So the dog first digests calcium, right? So it grows calcium, but then it doesn't have magnesium, phosphorus, manganese. So the bone is soft. It's not finished, right? So you want to make sure that the bone has time to digest the minerals, utilize into the bone the ossification of the minerals, right?
Yeah, you want that bone to be solid.
Right. I go hiking and I see dead coyote bones, right? Now and then, or deer bones, right? And they're like marble, man. They're just hard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you see a cow bones or dog bones, they're soft. And the reason is because they want these animals to grow fast and the bones just don't develop properly.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so you want to feed slowly and variety, and meat has all the minerals and all that.
The right amount.
Right amount. So if you have one dog and you can afford it, what you need to do is to feed beef and chicken and heart. If you can get it, liver. Be careful with liver, right? Because it gives the dog diarrhea. So I would not give the dog more than like half of tablespoon at most, okay? Because the dog is going to shit all over your house otherwise, right? Because so much nutrition that the body doesn't know what to do with it. Oh my God, what am I? So it sends it out, okay? Yeah. And
chicken feet is good.
Yeah, chicken feet are great for the joints. Chicken feet are the most bioavailable source of glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, and hyaluronic acid.
Which they try to sell in.
Yeah, they'll sell you capsules, but you can go to Oriental supermarket, or as they call, what do they call it now? Oriental is a bad word now.
I know. Asian?
Asian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be careful, huh?
Yeah. Oh, God. My God. I just... Asian supermarket or the Mexican, Hispanic.
Oh, he said Mexican. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I don't know.
You're in trouble.
Yeah. Anyway, and they sell chicken feet and all these weird stuff, tripe and all that, okay? So and they sell chicken liver and beef heart. Yeah. I mean chicken hearts and
my wife goes and she that's where she finds them. And Walmart has them too. Sometimes depends, but
has what?
Some of those things, but not as readily always as you would go to some of those stores.
Yeah. For some reason, I noticed dogs don't like to eat fish.
Yeah, fish is not shrimp. They hate these guys. They're like a garbage.
Oh, my dog loves shrimp.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, they see I eat it, so they think it must be good, so they eat it too.
Okay. Interesting.
I eat almonds, right?
Okay.
And they staring at me, so I give them almonds like a little.
It must be good.
I said, oh,
this is good.
Anyway, it must be good if I eat it, right? After all, I'm dog too, right? We already established that.
Yes.
Right. So.
Yep.
So that's about the how fast the dog is growing. So you want a dog to not. I'm not talking about being fat. I'm talking about not to grow too fast. And I talk about it.
Sorry, but the young dogs especially, right? There's an issue there
you should always feed the amount of about 9/10 of what the dog would like to eat. Right? So if the dog eats 10 units, would like to eat 10 units, feed only 9 or 8.
Okay.
That's after puppies. I would say after about 5 months of age, right? And after 5, 6, 8 months, feed only once a day. And after 8 months or so, or a year, I would fast the dog 1 day a week. And your proper weight of your dog is when people start saying, you need to feed your dog more. That's where you want to be with your dog, okay? With your weight. So you want the dog to grow slow. And my favorite example of that is like when you go to trees, right? You can go in desert and the trees are, like ironwood and all that, they're hard because they grow slow, right? Yeah. And you can go in nursery and they have a tree like mulberry or some tree, right? And they want them to grow fast because faster they grow, sooner they can sell them and get more money for a bigger tree, right? Yeah. So they fertilize it and everything is perfect, but the tree grows so fast that the wood, just like the bone, which needs to get ossified, the bone is not strong enough to support the weight of the tree. So it starts bending. So they put a stake to it. You go to nursery, every damn tree has a stake next to it. Go in woods. You see any stakes by the tree? No. You don't, right? Yeah. Again, learn from the nature. Yeah. Right? Why? Because in nature, the tree grows slow at its own proper pace, doesn't get fortified, by, fertilizer pumped, like a goose on Saint Martin or whatever.
Yeah.
They force.
Yeah.
So they eat more.
Goose liver.
That's right. But it's supposed to be like a cruelty, I guess. But so the tree doesn't have a stake when you are in the woods because it grows at its own natural pace, and that's what we want from the bones of the dog.
Yeah.
There's a parallel. And people would say, "Well, the dog is not a tree." I say, "All right, just go away." It's just an example.
Yeah.
For clarity, reasons. Yeah. So I don't know, the chicken feet are a big deal, man. I think that's really good stuff for dogs. I always go to Lily's, and they have a pile of chicken feet, and I said, I want some of the chicken feet.
Yeah.
And they said, how much do you want? I said, all of it.
Oh, wow, this guy likes chicken feet.
Yeah. You know what? I was, speaking of stories, right? I had this girlfriend up in Slovakia when I was in in college. And in high school, actually, it started. And I always go there, and then I need to go back to Prague. She was living up in the mountains by Rimavská Sobota. And I always went there and studied for exams for the college. And, I stayed there for 2 months with her and all that. And then I went back. And I would walk, sometimes I had a lot of time. So I just walk out of there, and I was like alone in the middle of nowhere by this railroad station by Rimavská Sobota, waiting for the train, which will take me then to Prague. And I got there like early, right? So I had like hours to wait for the train. And there was this old gypsy, right? And, she came to me, she says, I'll read your palm of your hand, she would say. And I said, I knew it's bullshit, right? Yeah. At least I thought so. Yeah. And, but what, I was bored, right? Hours to kill.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, how much? She said, 5 crowns. It would be like probably $5 today, in value.
Yeah.
And so she read my hand and talking bullshit, about this and that. Like, every boy, you have a problem with your girlfriend, Of course, every boy has a problem with his girlfriend, right? And then she says, but then she started talking stuff which was interesting. She would say, you have a grandma, and she has arthritis. Of course, all grandmas have arthritis, right? And I tell you what you need to tell her to eat. And guess what she said? Chicken feet with orange juice. Glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, hyaluronic acid, and vitamin C.
For absorption, yeah.
Go to vitamin store, and that's what you're gonna get. 50 years later, glucosamine, chondroitin, hyaluronic acid, MSM, and vitamin C. It's all gypsy.
Yeah.
By Rimavská Sobota, Slovakia.
Yeah.
Knew that.
Yeah. So the chicken soup is actually a real thing when people say chicken soup. Well, yeah, but if you really cook it from chicken soup, it's got all these good stuff in it.
As I said, chicken soup?
No. I'm just saying.
I said chicken feet?
Chicken feet, but I'm just saying you put the feet, whatever you put in there.
Well, yeah, you could hold chicken with feet and everything. Now you go to grocery store, there's no feet.
So the whole chicken soup thing, I'm not talking about Campbell's canned food, but I'm talking chicken.
Actually made out of chicken,
yeah. And the carrots and all that good stuff in there. It's good. It does have...
But, that was really interesting that this gypsy, this is like in 1970, this happened, roughly,
Yeah.
And I was like 17 years old or something, I don't know the math exactly. But it was around 1970. And but the gypsy, she knew.
Yeah. How good that is for you.
Well, gypsies, they know all sorts of things. There's this disease, I don't know what it's called, trypanoma or whatever, with pigs. right? And when pigs die of trypanoma, they took it to a dump. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I'm just talking about the wisdom of the gypsies, right? And what the gypsies used to do, they would go to, hoof and mouth disease, they call it, I think, right? That's what it was. And you couldn't eat it. So they would take the pig or whatever animal and put it to a dump. And the gypsies, they would sneak up to the dump, the nomadic gypsies, and they would take that pig or whatever it was out of the dump, and they would eat it. And nothing ever happened to them. They didn't get sick from the hoof and mouth disease and all that. You know what they did? They took that meat and they cook it. The Chinese do that, called twice cooked pork. There's a reason for that.
Is that,
right? And what happens is when you cook the pork, the bacteria in it will create a little shield around it so it can withstand the heat, right? And so then when it cools down, it gets up in life, and if you eat it, you still get sick. But the bacteria can do it only once in a short period of time. So they cook it again. Now the bacteria or whatever causes that disease couldn't create this shield around itself to protect, so it killed it.
Interesting.
And it's where really pasteurization and all that stuff is about. And gypsies knew it for thousands of years before. Right? They should be getting the Nobel Peace Prize and not Pasteur.
I know.
So anyway, I don't know. So
no, it's a good.
So I don't know what I can talk about food.
No.
Well, anyway, what I would conclude this. I would suggest you feed a variety of different raw meat, chicken, beef. I would be careful with pork. Maybe they say, I don't know why, but they do. So I would probably not feed pork, just to be on the safe side. If you cook it a little bit, I don't know. But organs, if you can get kidneys, liver, beef heart. You cannot get that stuff. I used to go to bashes, and they used to have beef heart. It's not there.
Hard,
and I talked to the butcher. I said, how come you don't have a beef heart? Nobody buys that. One of the best meat. And it's good for your own heart. All the minerals in beef heart is what your heart needs.
Well, liver and onions, it's good. Like people used to eat that. And
Oh, people, liver.
I know.
So, anyway.
If you enjoyed this content so far, please subscribe to our channel. Also, Hans has a podcast channel called Dog Training for Life. Check that out so you can listen to the audio version.
I put a little bit in the dog food, a little bit sea kelp,
Oh, yeah.
Wakame.
Wakame,
I buy a big bag of it. I'll put a picture of it. A big bag, and I run it through a coffee grinder, turn powder, and kind of sprinkle a little bit, pinch of it. If you put too much, you get diarrhea again.
Okay.
And it's good for people too. It's anti-inflammatory. I'm old, so my joints hurt a lot, and I put if I don't put wakame powder on my food, like eggs or so, you can eat it like a salt. Use it as a salt, and I mix wakame with cayenne pepper, and I sprinkle it a little bit on the eggs, and I have no joint pain.
But it's a daily. You have to do it daily.
Every day.
Yeah, it's not
every day. If you don't do it for 2 days, suddenly I cannot get out of the bed. Everything hurts, and I'm creaky. Right. So I said, shit, I didn't take any wakame. This bag like this big. They sell little tiny bags. You got to be careful, because they're really expensive. But, I think 36 ounces or something, big bag like this, right? And it used to cost $16 way back when I started using it. $16 for a bag like this. You know how much it costs now?
No.
$75. Wow. And this is only like 15 years. Just keep voting Democrats, guys. I'm being facetious.
Hans, concentrate.
Focus.
But this was a good episode. I thought, I told Hans, We actually recorded this episode. It's my fault. We had, for some reason, I couldn't find the footage, and there's been so many questions since we started the podcast about this. And you talked to people that said we got to record this. This should have been one of the first things that we put out, but
I don't know how
it got lost in the shuffle a little bit. We shoot a lot of video. A lot of podcasts.
Well, he's worried I'm going to croak, so he want to have something in the hopper.
That's what I do, guys. That's my whole goal in life.
Yeah, he's planning on me.
I know. All of a sudden, I met Hans like 4 years ago. Finally, I have a.
Gabor is going to find out Hans died, and he said, "Oh
man, we got
at least we have those videos,
those episodes." He figured me out.
Yeah, I know, man.
That's right.
I can see through you like through the glass.
That's right. Yes, I'm very transparent, apparently. With this being said, if you guys want to purchase instructional videos from Hans, make sure you visit Alpine Canine Real, like realistic.com. And he has personal protection series videos, how to feed puppies raw, which is just tying into this whole thing. So if you have a puppy, how to transition a dog to raw.
Yeah, it tells you how to prepare the food.
It's an actual video that Hans shows you how to do that. Of course, we had the obedience, out of drive obedience video and other ones too. And we had other videos in there too. Also, if you're looking for a puppy or a trained adult, Hans is your man. These dogs come in from the Czech Republic. They literally are flown in from there. So if you have any questions, make sure you contact Hans. The information is down below the video. It was in the beginning of the video too. You can pause the video. Also, please subscribe and share, and that kind of helps the channel. So that's it, guys.
Yeah, I'm waiting for to make enough money so I can buy me a helicopter.
I thought it was a jet.
Oh, okay. Well, that too. Then.
Well, jet is. Well,
I'd rather have a helicopter.
Well, sometimes you need a helicopter. Sometimes you need a jet. Kind of. It's like going fishing. You can't have one fishing rod.
I don't like fish, man.
Well, but you get the analogy.
I'm not against it. Go ahead, fish. But you know what? I caught a fish once. Trout in Wyoming.
Yeah.
And the freaking hook went through his eye, and I said, I can't do this.
See, people don't know that Hans, he's kind of soft. He's like a butterfly on the inside.
That's me, man.
Not on Saturday mornings at training, there's no butterfly there, but...
Yeah, but you know what? The Buddhists, the Zen Buddhists, they every evening, they apologize to all the bugs they stepped on during the day.
That's Hans, basically.
That's me, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening. And
Christians and Buddhists.
That's right.
That doesn't go against each other.
No.
Actually.
Goes well together. All right, everyone. We will see you guys next time.
Ahoy.